My name's Sabrina Ramanov. Thanks for joining my podcast. My guest today is David Bunney, affectionately known as Professor AI among his students. David, super excited to talk with you today. Let everybody know a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, look, hey, I'm really simple. My life evolves around two things: helping other people and having fun. That's it. No, but basically, I'm an author of many books, predominantly business and lifestyle type of books. I was grateful that one of them went bestseller on Amazon. That was Success Leaves a Trail. That's all about helping people improve their life. So that's kind of cool. And I enjoy writing books. And I have a speaking career that, again, I'm very grateful for because it puts me right around the world speaking to different people. Mostly, again, lifestyle, enrichment, how to get your life a lot better than it is. And of course, with AI now, there's no excuse at all. I've also had the privilege of speaking on cruise ships. And that's just the best time ever. And I'm doing another one in January, Singapore up to Hong Kong and back, because AI is very topical at the moment in the cruise industry. It's a really in-demand topic.
So let me just get this straight. You get paid to travel around the world on cruises and teach AI.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got to change my plan. That's what I learned so far.
It's kind of fun. It really is. I did a lot of corporate training, particularly before COVID, for high-level executives and executive assistants and PAs and that type of thing. And that was really good. It's amazing how the executive assistant very often runs the whole organization rather than the figurehead. But the corporate training sort of come to a stop during COVID. That changed a little bit. And so then I went into formal education with the colleges. And the thing that really found interesting was the Innovation College. AI was sort of just coming in, or at least ChatGPT was coming in. And I love innovation. I love anything, probably like yourself, any creative thinking. And I just absorbed it. But I really took a love to innovation. And that's how I sort of started. So I can really say from real experience, the last 2 years, the impact has had on at least this college, but also the universities in Australia.
Yeah, it's still quite controversial here in the US. Like, how are we going to adopt AI in education, in, elementary versus high school versus college? And I think there's still a lot of confusion, resistance. We're going from telling students to never use AI, never use it, to cheating. And now folks are warming up to, okay, you can use AI, but we need to change what it means to assess you and your level of learning. Yeah, I'm really curious how it differs from the US to Australia and what the reception has been at the Innovation College. Are folks open to using AI? Is there confusion? Is there resistance?
The story I'd like to tell is when ChatGPT came into Australia, how the education department reacted to that. And it was really profound. The education industry traditionally has always been the gatekeeper of knowledge and skills, basically. But now knowledge is not a commodity anymore. It is freely available for anyone. And skills, how-to videos on YouTube will teach you anything in 2 minutes. So the education industry itself, I think they're at a stage where they've got to look at what value do they provide other than knowledge and skill. And of course the networking, there's many other, value for sure. AI is moving quicker than the education industry and they just can't come up. As you know, ChatGPT came out in November 2022. In the first week in December, the New South Wales Department of Education, they came out the first week in December and said, well, we're going to ban AI in our department. It is true. I think that's rather naive, treating it as if it's like this object on the side that, well, we're just going to not have that in our education system. I think it's naive. I think a lot of other people have other adjectives to describe that. But what happened was that the other states in Australia followed suit. So, well, New South Wales did that. Well, we're going to ban it. We're not going to have plagiarism in our colleges or university. We're just going to stop it. And and some academic people are looking at, you can't be serious. You don't know what you're looking at. It was interesting because it took less than 2 weeks. By the third week in December, 3 universities, the Adelaide University, Sydney University, and the Sydney Technical University, they said, look, hey, let's move this ban away from how can we work with it? What sort of framework can we put in place to integrate that into the system?
Well, that was fast. Yeah, so what motivated that change so quickly, though?
Well, I think, one, they got a lot of backlash people really call them, "You're stupid." It's like, and the other thing that compounded the problem was the steadfast. They said, "Well, there's no problem. We've got our plagiarism software in place. It's going to catch everything. We don't have a problem." Oh, well, that lasted a few days. So anyway, then when we sort of moved into January, and I remember doing a very large webinar to a number of students, and I said, "Do you realize that ChatGPT is starting to come through the students?" And I said, if you go to Futurepedia, who's a website, and I said, "Did you know really we have 510 tools available to help you?" Half of them didn't even know what I was talking about. What's an AI tool? What are you talking about? And so that was a problem. And ironically, 12 months after that, I stood in front of another class, actually, and I said, "We've now got 1,150 AI tools." Now, that was only like 12 months out. And what have we got now? 18,000 or 20,000?
So what is your approach to teaching folks who are brand new to it? Like, do you guys have a framework in place or any best practices you recommend for other educators out there?
The biggest problem was they didn't have policy in place. How do you, the ethical use of AI within the college and the university is exactly the same. So, okay, we're past the stage of, yep, it's in whether you like it or not. So how can we regulate it? So then they tried to, bring in an ethical policy that you're only allowed to use it for research, but you're not allowed to use it for doing assignments. And that's good in theory, but where do you draw the line? The students didn't sort of comprehend those policies
It seems very
either.
fuzzy, a slippery slope.
Yeah, so it's a really challenging time for the universities. And this is, we're talking about 12 months ago. Like, it was a challenging time because they had some real concerns. The main concern was plagiarism. The second concern was the quality of the work. If you can run an AI and produce really high quality work, does that downgrade the curriculum, the whole syllabus? The other underlying problem they said was independent thinking. If you allow AI to do all the problem solving, which is very good at, as you would know, does that take away from independent thinking? And so there's a lot of sort of ethical, moral decisions sort of all wrapped up in the confusion of it. My personal thought on it, I was scared about the loss of communication skills. I have a passion for teaching life skills to students or to adults even. And I'm concerned that a lot of the young ones are treating AI as, get the answer, great, but they're almost forgetting communication skill. How can they communicate with their colleagues or to their bosses or to their clients and that type of thing? So that was my concern. So I think the education industry in itself genuinely had concerns, genuinely, in my opinion, handled it badly at the beginning.
They turned around fast, which is great.
Yeah, well, I don't know. But things are different now. How do you see it in your neck of the woods?
I think we're still grappling with a lot of the same issues. I am seeing educators now share openly like the curriculum and standards that they're using to teach AI in the classroom. Part of the curriculum is teaching students how to prompt AI and critically thinking by evaluating what ChatGPT is saying and whether it makes sense. And also being able to understand like what are hallucinations? How do you detect them? How do you ensure that your final output doesn't have them? In the era I kind of grew up in, people paid money for tutors, SAT test prep, expensive things to help you learn faster, get better, score higher on standardized exams. And much of that today is available for a fraction of the cost using things like ChatGPT or tools powered by ChatGPT. And so I'm really excited about kind of the democratized access. Things are affordable. Knowledge is affordable at scale to anyone who wants it. And also the personalized learning, like ChatGPT can actually recall your learning preferences over time.
Yeah.
I am curious, though, how you guys are tackling that issue of critical thinking and also making sure students develop those communication skills. So do you have any particular activities or prompts, exercises, or tips to help ensure that educators are still fostering that kind of thinking?
Yeah, well, I'll talk about how it affected some of these students or the trainers, how it actually has helped the trainers as well. But I'm just looking at my notes here about there's a couple of colleges, it's called Alpha in Texas, but they've come along and said, well, we can condense the curriculum down to 2 hours a day for our students just on AI and personal learning. And my immediate question was, what are they going to do for the rest of the day? And what they've done is they brought in life skills and just life skills for the rest of the day. And I thought, what a great initiative that, okay, you condense it. And being AI, you can personalize. Some are visual learners, some are, audio, whatever. So you can custom teach from AI and then teach life skills. I think
And
that's
when you say
fantastic.
life skills, can you break down what is it a college or a high school or?
It's called Alpha School, Austin, Texas. But there's also another one in London that was called David Game College. And there's the same thing. We're not going to have teachers. We're going to have personalized tutors from AI, and we'll run the entire syllabus from AI. So there's two examples in the world already, and I'm talking the last 2 or 3 months, of total AI, no teachers. And so where's it going to head? I don't know. I really don't know. But to answer your question about how did it affect the lecturers themselves, AI has helped in the classroom. But it really depends on the lecturer. So my style of training is very much on communication skills. What can I teach the students while they're doing their lessons and their assignments? Yeah. Again, life skills, communication. So the teachers, some of them took that on board. They said, hey, this is great. I can get AI to do a lesson plan or deliver a particular learning point by doing a role play or a scenario, and they really embraced it. But other teachers are saying, no, we're here to teach the curriculum, and my personality doesn't do that. And so I think the adoption of AI within the lecturers or the trainers and the teachers is a real personal journey from them, how their delivery style. So I think from the teacher's point of view, it really is a very individual type of thing.
And how are students reacting to all of it, coming from just 3-4 years ago when they didn't have access to this incredible technology? Like, how are they adopting it or reacting to it in the classroom?
I'd love to tell a quick story if I've got 3 minutes. I'm teaching international students, which are made up of subcontinent, which is Pakistan, India, Nepal, Colombia, and strong in Philippines, many Philippine students. When ChatGPT first came out, the subcontinent guys, they said, this is great. I can get my homework done, submitted on time, tick all the boxes. It's great. And they all went for speed. In particular, the Filipino girls, they said, hey, this is going to help our career. I can get quality work done rather than just an average. And they saw the bigger picture. So one of the lectures was on innovation. And they had to work in a project group, and we had 6 Filipino girls and 1 boy. And the project was to find a company that they could research and look at their innovation and improve on their innovation. Mm-hmm. So the project came to me and said, look, we want to do one on Tesla, and we want to use AI. Is that okay? And look, honestly, they came back with an assignment. When they presented it, it was the first time I realized the difference. They used AI. They got Tesla. They dismantled that company into, public relations. They had problems there. They had some batteries that were blowing up and catching fire. And they identified all the problems, or ChatGPT did, and then they flipped it around and how would they solve it for Tesla? And their assignment was just one of the best I have ever seen in my life, honestly. Wow. And it was, and in fact, it really got funny because when they submitted that, they said, now, David, can you make sure that you set up a meeting between us and the Tesla the team over there? Because I think our ideas could actually help the company. I actually realized the difference between there's a group that actually used AI for their assignments for the right reasons, and other projects in the class where, they ticked all the boxes. Yep, they got a pass, but there's no chalk and cheese. They're just absolutely the professionalism, the depth. It was just so much better.
And they were transparent about it. They asked you for permission or transparent about it with the entire process. Yeah.
That was a good example of using it. But it's right, because what's happening now is that the employers, and I know certificates and study at university is very important to get a job and put on your resume, but a lot of employers now are saying, well, evidence your knowledge of AI, evidence how you can do the job, how can you help my company, and then I might give you a job. And so I feel as being less and less importance in some countries, I'll qualify here, in some countries, of the certificate that the education department. But it's a very real issue for the education department.
A lot of people ask me for AI courses, AI certifications, things like that, and I'll happily share them. I make TikTok videos listing resources. But at the end of the day, the highest ROI is like getting your hands dirty, using the tools yourself, really just opening your eyes to what's possible. And as you use it, you'll see how it can be applied to many different types of industries and roles. And that's what you can talk about during your job interview. I wish more people asked me that, but usually I get questions about the courses and the certification still.
The universities themselves, the institutions, they've got stakeholders to go to answer to. And they're also grappling with things. But I feel sorry for the smaller colleges where you've got like maybe one CEO owner and a group of trainers, and they're trying to get their policies and their direction from the trainers, and yet the trainers themselves are looking at the CEO saying, hey, we're looking for direction from you. And some of those smaller colleges, they're struggling. They're trying to look at what's an industry best practice. Well, I won't say there isn't any, but it's all sort of getting
We're
made up
still figuring
as
it
it
out.
goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a problem. Hey, I've written a lot of books. The latest book is the AI Red Book. The story behind that was I was the only one with a list of a couple of tools that I was using. And I was giving this list out to the students. Oh, that's good. Well, what tool do you use for this image thing? And what do you use for this? And I ended up a whole list, and I got, maybe a dozen or 2 dozen. And I started to forget myself. So this list sort of grew bigger and bigger. And then, well, how do I get started? So I put a couple of chapters in there about getting started. And then this book developed by itself. And all it is really is it's how to get started with, AI. And my personal collection, I run a number of businesses, but the tools that I use and my colleagues use to get work done. And, with your permission, I'd love to give it away to more because it's useful. It's helpful to other people.
Yeah. What's the name of the book and how can people find it?
So theairedbook.com/free. Put your name in there and we're updated every month. Things are moving so quickly. So anyone's on the list, they get a revised version about 4 weeks later.
What's the audience for it? Is it people pretty new to AI so they'll be able to pick up your book and get started with it?
Yeah, well, it has useful tools in it because, everyone has different needs. And as I said, now we've got up to 18 or 20,000 tools and they're changing all the time. You really just need a collection of tools that are good for you that you tend to use. And I think that's where, my book has been useful for other people anyway. So I hope that helps help
Oh,
somebody.
that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to share it with our audience.
The takeaway message, my mantra or trademark at the moment is let AI enrich your life. No matter what you are doing and in any industry, not only the educated, but in any industry, AI can help you in productivity. It can make your life easier. It can improve your life. It's as simple as that. But the biggest problem I see is change, and people don't like change. They never have. They want a different result, but people are scared of change. I think we're at a period now in life where AI is almost forcing change onto some people, and the people that are resisting, I just feel sorry because go with the flow. Find AI that can help you improve no matter what you're doing. There'll be something out there that can help you get better at it or make it easier for you, and just embrace it because it's opportunity. And we're living in some of the most exciting times ever. It really, when you get to my vintage, I've seen a few things in my life and I am just flat out excited at the time of life that we are at right now.
Yeah, so how do you compare the AI wave that you're living in right now with previous technology waves? Does it feel any different or does it feel similar to when the internet first started? Just curious your perspective on that.
Well, I won't go too far back. I'll show my age, but I do remember when the internet became like January 2000, and I liken a little bit to that time because all exciting the internet is here and we're all going to get rich and it's going to change well, it did change the world. Yes, it did. So I sort of liken AI a little bit to that era. I won't go further back than that, but certainly to that era where the internet made a change in the world and people had to adapt. And a lot of people said, I don't need the internet, but they had to adapt. They were forced. Well, I see AI being the same. So I really encourage people to, don't be scared of it. Just start small and just embrace the change. But I'm excited about the future. I've looked at the last 2 years. Let's look at the next 2 years. Wow, let alone the 8 or 10 years time.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned the internet, the sense of being overhyped as a bubble, but in the long-term sense, it was actually underhyped because it really did have so many long-term implications and consequences and disruption. I kind of feel the same way about AI right now. It is overhyped. It feels bubbly, but I think in the long term, in terms of the long-term impact it's going to have, we're still in very, very early days. Yes, some people use ChatGPT a little bit on a weekly basis, but that's scratching the surface, as you know, of what's possible today with all of the different AI tools that are out there. I am curious, though, if you've noticed any pattern or trend among people who were initially resistant to AI, but then maybe experienced like a light bulb moment. Is there any way we can help more people kind of through that process and experience that light bulb moment for themselves?
There's two things. One is awareness is the first thing. Awareness is AI is here to stay. It's not going to go away. It's like the internet. It's not going to go away. The second thing is really just to take on board getting started, becoming educated at the beginning level. And when I talk to a lot of audience, they say, well, I've heard of AI, but I don't know how on earth it could help me. I know it's doing great for industry and all of that, but how is it going to help me? I'm just a housewife. I'm just a a worker, how can it help me? And I think if I can, my message is to show people in everyday occurrences, like yourself, I use chat every single day for many, many things. And I'm trying to I'm doing a video every day now on a different purpose in lifestyle. How can it help improve your life in the smallest of ways? So I think that's really the answer to your question, is to try and get people to be open-minded, to take on board new information. That's step number one. Learn a little bit of the how-to mechanics of it all, and then start connecting with news media or people like yourself, or people that can, have done it before and have just done that little bit. I think that's really the answer. But like all education, people are people, and you get some people a little bit more resistant than others. But I'm myself, where I am passionate about is it's had a profound impact on humanity, because the accessibility, a kid in a poor country with internet access is now on a level playing field with somebody studying at university. And with the right attitude and motivation, that person, whoever they are, has the opportunity in life now that they may not have had before. And I just that just brings tears to my eyes. That is just so good for the world. Yeah. So that's my take on it. Let's get the message out there.
That's why I'm so bullish on AI and education, democratizing knowledge in a way that is incredible, and it's global. Anyone with an internet connection can access this vast, vast knowledge base of human information. Oh my gosh, I think it's going to be absolutely transformative for education. So super excited to have you here to talk about it. Any last words of advice for other educators who are open to using AI, but maybe not sure the best way to introduce it formally into their curriculum?
Well, with educators, I think we're all here to help students. We're educators because we want to help other people. So I think if you focus on how AI genuinely can help other people, I think a lot of educators will be more willing to take it on board, because they're now aligned in their direction anyway. And they want to engage students, and AI is the best way of engaging students. So for educators that are out there that, hey, I don't know how to use AI, hey, there's a tool for that. There's an AI for that. But yeah, take it on board, because it can genuinely impact the students and help them in their career. And then that's what we're here about, to help other people, students or anyone, adults anywhere. So that's my advice for any educators out there.
So we're now at almost 3 years post the release of ChatGPT. Like, where do you see the education industry going and evolving as we're grappling now with more mature problems? It's not just like ban it, stick our head in the sands and hope it goes away. The education industry and many other industries are realizing AI is here to stay. But now the next set of questions we're grappling with is, well, what does that look like? What does us plus AI look like in the education industry?
That's a scary question in a way. It's twofold. For me, AI can help people with personal learning. Got my own coach. I need help in a lot of areas, and I know how much it has helped me. So I think the trend will be towards personalized learning from the student level. And I think that'll be driven from the student, because they can see, if I'm going to get a career out of whatever they want to drive, they're going to have knowledge in AI. So I think the students or career mind will drive that direction. I think the trainers and the colleges and the universities and the education system will have to catch up somehow. How that looks, I have no idea. I really, really don't know how. I teach business a lot. It is an overload of business opportunities right now. So AI is just getting better and better. The programs are getting more powerful. You've got an AI business coach that is way smarter than what I am. I've started a lot of business, made a lot of mistakes. I'm proud of the mistakes I've made, but AI is way more smarter than I am. The future holds a lot of potential, a lot of opportunity, a lot of hope. But again, it's for the people that are going to take it on board. The people that adopt change, accept the opportunity, they will just progress very, very quickly. The legal system, the education system, anything traditional, I have no idea how they're going to cope. I wish I did, but no, I don't.
Yeah.
But I do see the benefit of it and how it can genuinely help people in the world. So I'm all for that.
And any tips for those listening who want your career one day, cruising around the world, teaching people about AI? Any tips for how to get into that?
Simple. Go back to, I believe in karma, have fun, and help other people. That's all you've got to do in life. If you help enough people, good things happen to you. You attract good people. That's it.